Hey guys, my name is Russian Badger, and I just ate a chicken sandwich. No waffle fries though, and it wasn't free. Of course it wasn't free. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's no way that I could ever get a chicken sandwich just with waffle fries for free. I don't think I could ever really get any of that for free, but I got my chicken sandwich for $2.93, and why it came out to 93 cents, I am not sure. But the first thing that I need to tell you is that I recently did a podcast on Don't Revive Me, Bro, and that was with two gentlemen by the name of GT and Red Dragons, also known as Chris and Nick, and that was actually a very, very fun experience. And if you would like to look at that and listen to that, there is a link in the description that I will leave for you that you can click on and go and listen to that. And we speak about various topics, from me personally to the origin of catfish and coral, and what my favorite type of sandwich is, and whether or not I like getting stabbed in the face, which is clearly no, and basically a bunch of questions about myself and my whole conversation with GT and Red Dragons. Now, if you would like to see that, like I previously mentioned, there will be a link in the description. And I would definitely recommend it. I'm not going to force you to like some kind of communist dictator, but I would definitely recommend it. Like a house wine, I would recommend it. And a lot of you requested the M95. I was actually pretty surprised how many people requested the M95. And the only weapon that was requested more than the M95 was the VSS. And I was not actually surprised by that one. And I couldn't really get an adequate gameplay with the VSS just today in general, so I decided to go with the M95, and this isn't really any kind of special gameplay right now. It's more so to serve the purpose of informing you about the podcast, but I want to talk about the M95 and bolt-action sniper rifles and my whole experience with sniper rifles. Now, you guys know that recently my whole use of the recon kit has mostly been about using shotguns, and that's very, very fun. And, oh, 1-2, now look at this. I'm going to go around the corner. Then look at this. Good morning, Carl. I'm the Carl today, clearly, because I can't. That was not even a hit marker. So I said, you know what? I will 1-2 C4 you later and double kill. Just wonderful. You see, I'm doing that more often, and I'm doing things that I don't expect myself to do in certain situations. And I know that sounds sort of misleading and cryptic, but I'm actually using C4 a lot more as more of a primary offensive towards my enemy, as in throwing it or using the whole jump trick. And actually, if you guys don't know how to do that, I recently learned how to do that. I couldn't do that for the longest time, but learning how to manipulate your C4 tosses can be a very, very efficient way of getting kills when the enemy does not expect to be killed. Like someone sitting on the second level of a 3-story building, and all of a sudden you throw it against the wall and then you detonate it and they die. It usually takes them by surprise, and they're just thinking, what the? How did I just die of C4? This is awful. Like, it's just something that they really don't expect, because they don't expect you to be able to toss it that high. And that's especially pertinent with the recon kit, because obviously I've got the 20-second wall hacks, and you obviously know that I'm talking about the motion sensor, so even when I might even throw a motion sensor next to a 2-story building, and I know where the guy is on the second story, and I can easily set my C4 right on that wall and get an easy kill. Now here, I saw one of my teammates got killed up on the far hill up here, so I decided to take a defensive position, and I really like to do that with bolt-action sniper rifles, and gotcha! And usually I like to do this. I usually like to be the one in the engagement with the cover. I like to be the one that's behind these big concrete blocks, so if I ever get in some kind of a bind, I can easily just duck down, but you're exposed because you're out in the open. So I always like to be in the more advantageous position when it comes to cover, and I obviously adopt more of a defensive style when I'm using bolt-action sniper rifles, unlike somebody or some kind of quick scoper that is very, very aggressive. And I did some quick scoping with the red dot sight, but still, I would rather just use a pump action shotgun with slugs instead of quick scoping. And as you saw previously, there's that one tactic that I use of, if he's just beyond your range, if the enemy is just beyond your range of your M95, you can take one shot with this huge gun here, and then you can take one shot with your big iron, if you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, right? And hopefully you actually know what I'm talking about. You're not just acting like you know what I'm talking about. And of course what I'm talking about is the song of Big Iron by Marty Robbins. And that song is basically the only reason that I use the Rex. And just because I can act like the Arizona Ranger trying to slay Texas Red. You know what I'm talking about? With the big iron on his hip. Manifested by the MP412 Rex. And when it really comes down to big guns, as in the 50 cal personified or manifested here, and the Rex, pow, right in the kisser. And the smaller weapons such as the SVU and the MP443 Grok, right in the spine. That must be painful. But when it really comes down to bigger, larger weapon sets and smaller, weaker weapons, I reckon I'm gonna have me some of the biggins almost every time, because for some reason I really get a lot of enjoyment and it's a lot easier for me. You can call me a huge Carl, but I enjoy it when I can kill people within a certain distance without a headshot with a bolt-action rifle. For example, the M95 kills up to about 20 meters with body shots when you have Magnum on, or it's around 20 meters, and the other sniper rifles are around 10 meters, so that extra distance as a result of the low rate of fire and the small clip size is really a large motivation for me to use the M95. And of course I get the last pow right in the kisser shot right on that guy, and that's very fulfilling. I know it's kind of a quick game, but I wanted to showcase some M95 gameplay, and I will see you guys next time with either another shotgun gameplay or VSS gameplay, depending on what I feel like posting. And be sure to check out the podcast, link is in the description. I will see you guys next time. Auf Wiedersehen und bis bald und gute Nacht und auf Wiedersehen.